Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, and I am super excited to be here with you again for our show, The Mallorca Connection, which there is a backstory to that. We'll find out what it is. And we are continuing our business conversations with our expert, Mr. Roland Friedl. Today, we are talking about what happens, what do you do, how do you react when your business plan is not working and it's been 1 year. So let's welcome the star of our show, Mr. Roland Friedl, and hear what he's up to. Hello, Roland.
Hello, JACALYN. Great to see you, and hello to our audience.
It's great to see you, except we can't see you. We can hear you, but we cannot see you.
You cannot see me?
No, we cannot see you. So I'm going to put you backstage until we can. Oh, there you go. There you are. Hello, welcome.
Hello. Sorry.
That's okay. So, Roland, you've been working with businesses, with entrepreneurs. You've been working with men. There are a lot of things that you have expertise in. And on the Mallorca Connection, this is, I think, episode 3. We're really focusing on when someone decides to start a business, the business ideas, the business plan, the research, the execution, and things don't always go right. And I know that you are no stranger to this. You've been very open about your experience as an entrepreneur, a serial entrepreneur. Tell us a little bit more about how and when you started with your own business.
Well, officially paying taxes has started after university, but unofficially I started when I was 7 years old and I went to the, how do you call it, primary school. I started my first business. I was organizing the lunch break in school. I was 7 years old, and in our school system in Austria, we had different forms of lunch breaks, and I was organizing it. I was collecting the money. I was organizing the stuff, and I don't know, but at the end of the month, there was always money left, so I made some profit. So it was my first business experience. And since then, I love to make business, always buy and sell stuff like that. It was always me. I don't know why. I just loved it. But to be honest, I only was involved in products and industries I really can stand. I really can stand behind. I'm totally 100% convinced that it's something good. I would not sell things that I don't believe in, things that I don't like, just for the money. I don't know if do you know, by the way, do you know Red Bull, this energy drink?
I've heard of it. I've never had it, though.
Okay, it's the most famous energy drink in the world, and they make billions and billions. And the owner, unfortunately, passed away, Didi Mateschitz, and they approached me in 1993. They approached me, and because he brought this recipe from Thailand, because 51% is still in the hands of a Thai family and 49% in this Austrian entrepreneur, and they approached me in 1993 and said, "We're going to start this business in Europe. We want you on board, and you can select whatever you want, do the retail stuff or the restaurant stuff or whatever." I was very interested in the product, and in the second meeting, they brought the product, and I could taste it. I still don't like it. It's not because I missed a lot of money. I still didn't like the taste, and I was looking in the ingredients and the receipt, and I said, "My goodness, this is not healthy stuff. I'm sorry, I'm out." And I went out. So I only sold and recommended products that I would take for myself. That I always did. And as you said, Dr. JACALYN, some businesses have been very successful and some failed. And the failing business was a huge success too, because I learned a lot about it. For me, it wasn't failure, it was feedback. I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about myself as a man. I learned a lot about myself as a businessman. And I found out, okay, some things I'm really good in, some things I'm really bad in. So there are two options. I focus on the good things and outsource the things I don't like, I'm not really good, or I focus on the things that I'm not good and learn them, and then maybe the things I'm really good will go down. Yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting story that you shared there, because that is a huge name. Everyone knows that brand. And I know myself as an entrepreneur, everything doesn't always go the way that you'd like it to go. And you and I had a conversation before the start of the show we just did before this planet Earth. And basically, what I shared was that something came up yesterday that was unforeseen. And instead of panicking, I gave myself a few deep breaths and I said, how can I come up with a solution for this? So there are always going to be ups and downs in business. And I think it's a matter of looking at what is it that we can do to find a way forward. Instead of panicking, instead of crying, freaking out. I've seen this happen so many times. People will say, that's it. I'm done with this business. I'm out of here. I'm not doing this anymore. But you put so much time and money into it, find a way forward. And if one thing doesn't work, come up with something else. So in the example that I shared with you, Roland, is that I found a way forward. And then the problem resolved itself anyway. So by doing what I did, I found a solution to expand the business. And at the same time, the original issue was a non-issue. So I think it happened so that I would find other ways forward. So sometimes these are gifts that we get. What are your thoughts, Roland?
Absolutely. And sorry for the technical issues that we have heavy rain here right now in my area. Yeah, the point is that most people that start a business give up too early. They just give up too early. And you know, there always are challenges, there are always obstacles in the way. That's normal. And when you talk to the most successful businessmen and women in the world, no one made it in the beginning. So was always some failure, there was always some reorganization, some bringing a new strategy, bringing a new action plan. You always have to adapt your business. So when you have a business idea and you start, as we talked, actually we made 5 episodes about it, I guess, about a business plan, and maybe the business plan has to change in 3 months or in a year because the circumstances changed, environment changed, customer behavior changed, maybe a competitor came into the market, or whatever. So there are always challenges, but most people give up too early, just give up too early. And I strongly believe that there is not, it was maybe that people have a glimpse of, yeah, it would nice to be independent, it would nice to have a business, to do this. No, it's not a nice to have. Building up a business is you have to have a vision. You have to be really crazy about it. And I always say it's the first that you think about it in the morning when you wake up, and it's the last thing before you fall asleep. And when you're not 100% committed, this is going to be a tough time. And as I said at the beginning, you need really set up a huge goal. What is your goal? What do you want to achieve? And I don't talk about financial stuff. I don't talk about what do you want to achieve in life, about how you want to live, how you want to become, where do you want to live, with whom you want to live. So you really have to have set us a huge goal. The goal has to be much, much bigger than the obstacles on the way, because you know, when the obstacle is bigger than your goal, you don't see your goal anymore, and then you give up. And that's one of the reasons most people give up too early. And as I said in the other shows, most people don't have a proper business plan, a financial plan. That's the point. And most people also didn't do a good market research. There are many reasons, but it's not a reason to give up. It's about taking feedback and do something new.
Thanks, Roland. And you know, I appreciate what you shared. And this question that I have. It's one I've asked before, but people have asked me, and I've given them my coaching on it. But it comes up a lot. The question is, how do you know if you're on the right path, doing what it is that you are passionate about doing. Or if you are, let's say you started a business and you're encountering one setback after another, maybe it's a sign that you're in the wrong line of work, or maybe that you picked the wrong product, or you didn't do your research. And of course, for each of those obstacles, I'm saying challenges, you can do research and work and find solutions, or you can just raise your hands and say, I'm going to walk away from this one and I'm going to look at starting something different. How do you know when to do that?
Well, first of all, I'm a person that never give up. I never give up. I never ever give up, because I said when I fall down, I walk up. It's not about giving up. You know, when you there's a failure, yeah. As I said, you stand up again when you fall down, and you think about a new strategy or whatever, and then when you do it again. I think it's part of your character, but your personal attitude. If you're a solution seeker or a problem, and you also have in business a problem, people who fix some problems and not a solution. But this is not really helpful in a business case. In a business, when you're in a business environment, you have to be absolutely solution focused. There's always happening something, and the question is, how fast are you to find a solution? Because most people are really caught in this trap. Actually, there was an amazing book out by Ben Sherwood. The title of the book is Who Survives? And he's a scientist, a researcher, and he was researching and looking at stuff like people who survived and people who didn't survive, like airplane is falling down, or people had an amazing crash, or people have been attacked by a bear, or stuff like that. So he was reaching why people survive, why people don't survive. And he said 10% of the people 10% of the people do the right things. 10% of the people are just it's the wrong time and the wrong place. It's just bad luck. But 80% of the people could survive if you had done the right thing. And then in the last chapter, he talks about business cases. The same. If something comes up, something you don't expect, even top managers get into trap. And the question is, how long does it take that you're paralyzed and get out of this shock and this paralyzed and think clear, get a clear thought? Because most people are really caught in this, I call it this negative content loop. You know, they don't have the proper data, the proper facts, they just hear something, experience something, get crazy, get scared, whatever, and then they have a negative mindset, and then whatever comes up, whatever negative and small things, maybe they're not relevant in this case, but every small negative thing gives them the confirmation, yes, I'm wrong, and then they go in this negative content loop. And it happens to managers. I saw it many times in my consulting career, many times. So it's about your personality. It's about how strong is your mental health. That's all about it. Are you a solution seeker? Going forward to reach something, or you're always running away from something? There are two different kinds of motivation. We call it in personal development, we call it submodalities. There are different submodalities, and one of these submodalities is: are you heading towards something to reach something, or always running away? For example, you can say, I want to have 1 million on my account, or I want to have more money on my account, or I want to have a plus of 10% or whatever. Or you can say, I don't want to always be broken. That's a different approach. It's a different submodality. And when you have the submodality of running away always, that's not good in business.
And by the way, and it's not good in business because people get to know that this is your modus operandi. They know that you fold when the times get tough, and people want to know that they can count on a brand, they can count on a business, they can count on a business leader to be there. And obviously in the media, there's been all kinds of articles written about a certain beer brands that made certain choices, and it really impacted their branding and their business and their sales. So I'm not sure what's going to happen in that case. But if you know which company I'm speaking of, if you were in their shoes, would you fold and say, okay, we made a mistake, we're just going to close our doors? Or would you find a solution to move forward?
As I say, I'm always a solution seeker, because at the end of the day, it's always about us. It's about are we ready to take a responsibility and say, I have a clear thought and say, okay, look in the mirror and say, oh, I made a mistake. Or maybe I didn't keep in mind this and this and this. Maybe I didn't see this and this coming up. It's always us. It's never, ever the others. It's always our own fault. Maybe we haven't been prepared. And then when something happens, okay, giving a really honest feedback. It's all about being honest to yourself and kind of where did you fail? It's always about it's because the circumstances we're living in is the consequence of all the things we did or did not. Nonetheless, there's no competitor's fault or a customer's fault. It's all about us. Even when a customer is not paying you, the question is, did you check him before? Can he pay? It's always about us. It's always about us. But to answer your question, Dr. JACALYN, there's always a solution to get out of it. And I remember I had a customer, a client. He was a top CEO of an international company, and then he decided to go his own way and do consulting because he knows everything. He knows it better than the other ones. So he started a consulting company in an industry that's very difficult, and he was very motivated. He has an amazing skill set, and he started. It didn't work, and he came to me and said, "Roland, can you help me?" So we analyzed the business case and everything, and then I said, "Okay, the question is," I said to him, "The question, my friend, is, do you still believe in it?" And when you believe in it, when the market research was done, probably you have two options. You change your product. If you want to stay in this market you're targeting, you have to change your product portfolio because people don't want or don't need your product. That's one option. Or if you don't want to change your portfolio, maybe you have to change the market. Maybe you go somewhere else. Maybe not in Europe. Maybe they love it in Asia or in South America. There are two options. Change something. Find a solution. It's up to you. Or you can give up. At the end of the day, he gave up.
Yeah, and I think one thing I just want to add to that, just from my personal experience, is to try your best to table the emotions. And obviously, business is emotional, but when we get so emotional, we can't make decisions that are in the best interest of our brand, our business, our clients, our employees, because we're highly emotional. And Roland, as you know, because we're all about elevated listening here, when we are so emotional, we aren't able to listen, whether it's to listen to our intuition or to listen to our coaches or our mentors. So we can't get the direction even from within because we're so highly charged and highly emotional. What are your thoughts?
Absolutely. You know, that's actually the content of my red and blue coaching I offer to my clients, getting out of the red zone, because most people in the red zone, they're, as you said, emotionally triggered. And there are different triggers. We get triggered by different things. It would go too deep now, but we always triggered by different things. The question is, how do we react? How do we react on circumstances? Are we triggered? And as I said, we have a negative thought about it. This negative thought brings a negative emotion. This negative emotion brings a negative behaving, and this negative behaving brings negative results. And this negative results gives us the confirmation, yeah, it's bad. So we think even worse. We get worse emotion, we get worse behaving and worse result, and then we have this negative content load. It's all going down. And we can see this by people. They're reacting in three forms. They get aggressive. When they're overwhelmed, they get aggressive, or they're escaping, or they get passive. There's all of these three behavings. Somebody gets aggressive, they're overwhelmed, or they're escaping, or they get just passive. They don't do it, just waiting. Huh? So when you realize something on yourself, that you get aggressive by a situation or you get passive, you try to escape, get out of the business, get out of the room, get out of the situation. This means that you're triggered by something. And the question is, do you really have all data, or do you have a biased how you call it?
Bias.
A biased how you see things. Yeah, you just maybe you're just filtering out stuff, and you don't see the whole stuff. You only see what you want to see, and the point is, get all the data, get all the facts, get all the data, because at the end of the day, you have to go back on task, working on task, staying on task, and staying on task mean that you get out of the red zone, because emotions are absolutely helpful. Because when you're in an emotional state, in a negative emotional state, you cannot function rational. In business, you have to stay rational, working on task. Okay, do the things that need to be done, delegate what has to be delegated, and do the rest of the work. So most people are acting in the red zone. That's the problem, and we always see that. When somebody's, as I said, somebody's aggressive, passive, or just tries to escape, it's always the same. This is a sign that they get triggered by something, and they're in this negative content loop, and then things go worse.
Exactly. And so, Roland, when someone has a business plan and it's not working, how about going back to the table with your mentors, your coaches, and revising the business plan with possible solutions, and also anticipating what might happen as you go down the road and having possible solutions for that as well?
Absolutely. And the first thing is to be realistic and be honest. Take a honest feedback. That's all. Because some people always have justifications. They have a justification, whatever they want to justify. It's not about justification. It doesn't help at all. It has to be brutal, honest. Is it the right timing? Is it the right product? Do you target the right customers? Yeah. Do you have the right strategy? You have to be brutal honest, and most of the time it's really helpful to bring somebody from outside who has a very objective view, because when I see my clients and I help my clients, it's not my baby, it's not my product, it's not my company. I see it very realistic, and I see it without any emotions. I just see the facts. And that's the difference between a coach, a mentor, or the business person itself. Because the business person, as you said, Dr. JACALYN, there are emotions involved. Absolutely. And it's so important that you have a clear view of it, honest feedback without any emotions. So that's the fact and not justification. That's, in this case, you need somebody from outside to help you. If you don't want to give up, if you don't want to shut down the doors. Really, find somebody who gives you a really honest, clear feedback without any emotions. It's so important. And then find a strategy. Is there a way to get out? And in which direction you have to go? And what are the next steps? As I said, maybe you change your portfolio. Maybe you change your pricing system. Maybe you change the market, the customers you're targeting. You have to adapt something, because there's never ever a business plan that runs 100%. I've never seen this before. Never ever. You always have to adapt it. You always have to make taking feedback, and that's one of this very important. Like I did, by the way, I did a Talking Head episode about it. It's called the Success Star, and one of this, I don't remember. The first thing to be successful is 5 stars. The first one is everybody aligned with the vision, the strategy, the action plan? Okay, that's the first one. Second one is, I just repeated this. Do we know what skills we need? Do we have the skills? Can we get the skills from outside, or have to train ourselves? So we have to find the skills. And the third thing is working consistently with discipline. But discipline also means being brutal, honest, and taking feedback, and not justifying whatever you've done. Doesn't make sense. We're being brutal. So, okay, this went wrong, so we have to change this and this. But most people don't want to give up. They don't want to give up the strategy they started with. So it doesn't make sense. If you want to have different results, you have to go different ways. Maybe you give up your belief system yet before. Maybe you give up the picture you have about yourself or others. There's always a way to get out of this trap. But the question is, are you ready for it? Are you ready for it, to be brutal, honest, and say, okay, I failed, but I don't give up. I tried differently. There's always
excellent points, Roland, as always. Something that I want to add is, you and I are entrepreneurs. We have that entrepreneurial spirit, and there are others out there watching now or later who do, but not everyone does. And if you're in a relationship with someone who doesn't have that, and they don't, maybe because they don't understand it, they're in a different role, and they're saying to you, how can you be so calm when we don't have money to pay the heat? We don't have money to buy food. And you are just saying, I'll find a way forward. Just trust me and have faith in me. And they're coming from a position of fear and panic, and that can bring an entrepreneur down. So how do we deal with those situations?
That's a very good point, Angela. I remember when I started my franchise system in Just Plus, I had thousands of people in the network, and I always say, when you start this business, you pay a price. I guess we had this discussion before also. When you want to be successful, it's not only about performance. You have to pay the price, meaning you do what has to be done right now, and not because it's just convenient or you don't have nothing is on TV or Netflix, whatever. You do it because it has to be done. Means paying the price. And when you're in a relationship and when you build up a business, there's a lot of tension. The business draws in this direction, the partner draws in this direction, because in the beginning you have to really invest a lot of energy and time, meaning you have I didn't go on vacation for a long time. I didn't see my wife for many weeks and weekends, and my kids. It's about paying the price. And the question is, do you have a clear conversation about the expectations, what is coming with your partner in the beginning? Because if not, this can be very challenging. There will be a lot of tension in the business that the partners drawing in this direction, your business idea is drawing in this direction. The question is who is stronger. And I saw it many times that people gave up their business idea because of the partner. Because in the beginning it takes time. You don't start a business and be successful in the first month or year. Maybe it takes a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 or 5 years, depending on the industry you're in and how much money is involved when we talk about return on investment. And if there's not a clear conversation in the beginning with your partner, this is a really dangerous situation. I always saw it. A few people break the relationship, they go with the business, but most people give up the business to have harmony and peace at home.
And then you get the old, well, I told you so. I told you that I knew what I was going to do and I was going to be able to bring the money in and save the business, but you wouldn't support me. And a lot of times that's why relationships break up as well, because now you have people who are polarized on opposite sides instead of actually coming together to put a plan in place that both people can understand and be part of.
Yeah, I mean, I was married 2 times, and my first marriage we built up this Just Bus business, and it was a clear commitment in the beginning. I said, okay, she's taking care about the kids, and I'm building up the business and build the business for her up too. So this was clear, and the relationship didn't break because of the business. Absolutely not. We have been both successful. My ex-wife is still in the business successful. So there was other reasons. But it was a clear commitment in the beginning. I told her, I said, okay, give me 5 years. Actually, I became in the highest position after 2.5 years, so less than 3 years. So I made it earlier because I said, I want to reach this position anyway. Why should I walk slowly? Go forward. I want to reach it. So make the painful time as short as possible, because I started part-time. So make it the pain as short as possible. So we're both very committed. But in my second marriage, when I continued our business, we had very often discussion. I said, I don't want to see the products here and there and there. I said, hey, honey, this product is paying our lifestyle. They stay. It's the product that is staying, and it's not the product that's living. Maybe it's you that you're living, but not the product, because it pays the lifestyle. I'm very clear in all my conversation, actually also with my previous girlfriend. I said, hey, that's my business. It pays your vacation, not only my vacation, it pays your vacations too, and pays your gadgets too. You accept it or you go. I'm sorry, that may sound very harsh, but I said to many young business guys, I said, hey, how many girls do you know? And how many business opportunities do you know? So choose wisely.
Choose wisely. That's excellent feedback. So as we continue down the path of looking at what it takes to start your own business, putting that business plan together, doing the market research, looking at your competitors, and then also what are the ideas that you have? Who else had these ideas? What did they do with them, and how did that turn out? What are some of the other things that you found as a new entrepreneur that you have to consider to build up a successful business? I mean, the one thing that I can... Sorry.
I guess we had this conversation a show before. I said, what some people don't, or what some people really fail is when money is coming in from your business, don't spend everything. So you hold money back so you can reinvest in your business. I guess that's very important. Most people don't reinvest in the business. Oh, I'm making money. I buy a nice car. I buy a larger apartment. I go on a nice vacation. Maybe not a long one because you're working hard, but a more luxury one. Instead of 5-star, I go Instead of 4-star, I go 5-star. Instead of economy, I fly business. That's not a good in the beginning. So the beginning, don't change your lifestyle in the beginning. Reinvest the money, and keep money safe, because there are always downs in the business. Always. Business is always coming in waves. Always in coming waves. You need the money when it's going down, because your spendings, apartments, rental, I don't know, your cars, insurance, kids' education, whatever it is, your spending is always linear. But in the business, income especially in the beginning, is not linear, and you give up when you're down your expense. When your income is down your expenses for too long time, then you're gonna give up. Maybe it's you or it's your partner who will force you to give up. So you save money as much as possible. And even if the business is running good in the beginning, please save money. Save money for the downs, and save money so you can reinvest in your business. Maybe go on a new strategy, hire a marketing company, hire a social media expert or whatever. I see this many times, that when business is running, that they spend too much on nice things for their personal reward. That's what we see very often.
Roland, what about this? I never see you. You're never home. I want to go away for the weekend. We need to take a vacation as a family. You need to stop working so that you can take care of us and spend time with us. I didn't sign up for this.
Well, as I said at the beginning, before you start the business, you have to have a clear conversation with your partner and say, okay, this is the next 2, 3, 5 years. Be honest, be realistic, and be honest. And okay, are we going this, honey? Yes or not? You have to have a clear conversation in the beginning, and listen to your partner in the beginning of this conversation. Are there any doubts? Are there any anxieties? Talk about it. Bring everything to the table, because but most of the time it's popping up when you don't need it, because you are under stress because the business is working. Your partner is under stress. Good luck. Good luck. So have a clear conversation. Listen clearly to your partner. Are there any doubts? Are there any anxieties? Whatever. Be very clear at the beginning. That's so critical. That's so critical. Because when you have a commitment, you can say, hey, you said you give me 3 years. Now it's year 1. So there are 2 more years, 3 more years. You have to do it. But also find, of course, also find space for your family. I mean, it's not about quantity. It's about quality. It's about spending quality time. Meaning, when you are on vacation, even when it's just a weekend vacation, when you're on a weekend vacation, or when you're just going for a lunch or for dinner with your partner, then be 100% present, meaning switch off your phone. Switch off your phone. Yeah. When you're with your kids, when you're with your family, be 100% present. And even it's just an hour or whatever it is, a day. So I think it's what a partner needs is quality time. That's one thing. Quality counts more than quantity. And the second thing is, never break any promise. When you promise your kids that next weekend you see them at the football game, or you come to school because there's a school theater show, whatever, show up. There are 2 things why families break is because there's no quality time and you break promises.
Thank you so much, Roland. And I think it's so important. Everyone's on the same page. And if you are the person who's at home while your partner is the one with the business, maybe find out how you can get involved. Maybe there's something that you can do as part of the business, something small, but something where you feel like you're bringing value and you're part of the solution. And I think that way you're more of a team. What do you think, Roland?
I mean, when you can build up a business with your partner, that's pretty cool. That's for me the best thing. Yeah, that's pretty cool. If not so, just be lucky when your partner is not working against you. As I said, one the business is throwing on this side and the partner is throwing on this side. So when you have a partner who is with you together, you build up something together. That's just amazing. When you have the right direction, a common direction and a common goal. Right? That's pretty fun. That's what I'm doing with my girlfriend right now. But if not, it's cool when she just supports you, meaning takes care about the kids or organizes some family events, but it's not against you. But when your partner is against the business, you have 2 choices: give up the business or give up the relationship. That's the point. You cannot stand this tension for a long time. You run the burnout much faster.
Roland, I really love what you shared today. Makes perfect sense. And again, we apologize for there's a lot of heavy rain where Roland is, I guess. So you're giving us great advice, but we see you're kind of like in a frozen position, like you're ready to defend somebody off there. So
Yeah, because I see myself on the screen quite good. So, but it's the transforming, yeah, the network. Yeah, sorry for that.
that's okay. Before we sign off, I just want to note that underneath your website, rolandfriedl.com, you have coach, speaker, author, and entrepreneur. Do you want to explain a little bit about each of these?
Well, I started to become a coach many years ago just by accident. So I was training my own stuff in my own companies, and then somebody from outside saw it and asked me if I can train and coach their stuff. So actually, my coaching consulting business 25 years started by accident. To be honest, it was not my intention in the beginning. I did no promotion, no advertising, nothing. To be honest, I didn't have a website until 2020, even on a business card. So all my businesses international, I was flying internationally all over the world for Xerox and other big companies, was just by recommendation, without any business card, with any acquisition or something like that. So I'm working as a coach and trainer. I loved it because it happened, and I found out I'm good in it. I'm just sharing my experience, and people get a huge benefit out of it, so their business is improving. That I started. Then some companies hired me as a speaker, as a keynote speaker, when they do a kickoff meeting, annual events, doing keynote speaking. That's also I love to do when I have time and I can fly in somewhere. I love to become a keynote speaker. I can be very inspiring because I love to inspire people. And as I always say, it's more about inspiration and information. So I love being a keynote speaker. Author, author means I was writing a book. I finished a book. I'm just editing the book, and it's coming out. So it's a business book. And entrepreneur means actually it's an artificial named created by one of my teachers, Dr. Jeffrey Armstrong. I'm studying Sanskrit and the Bhagavad Gita with him, and I always was very interesting the meaning of words. And I found out that entrepreneur is actually a very negative word when we use it, like colonization or organization are really negative words from the meaning. And he said, okay, start to become an entrepreneur. Entrepreneur is not somebody who is taking everything and taking everything and taking everything from the world and destroying everything. An entrepreneur is also somebody who is in exchange, in balance, in giving back. And what I'm meaning by giving back is giving it back, not because it sounds good, like some anthropologues, or there's people who do something good, making billions and spending millions. This is not what I mean. So then it means really taking care about everything you say and you do. That's an entrepreneur.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited for you and everything that you're doing. And I want to just mention to our audience that writing a book is really important. It gives you a lot of credibility. And the reason I share this is that I've been asked to do a couple of speaking engagements coming up. And one of the people who are bringing me on, she said, do you have a book? And I said, actually, I have 6 books. And she said, do you have one that's specific to this topic that you're going to be speaking on? I said, I actually don't, not for that audience. So I just started to write it, and it's going to be coming out September 21st for the International Listening Day, which is also the International Peace Day, cool. I think. So, yeah. Cool. So I'm just going to encourage people, just like what you did. You wrote a book. Get out there and write a book. It can be your calling card. It can be your business card that you leave with people. And you don't have to be doing it to make a fortune. That would be nice. We'd all like to be New York Times best-selling authors, but it gives you a lot of credibility, and it's also a great experience. So, Roland, just when it comes to being an author, what was that journey like? Is it something that you really enjoyed, or is it something that you'll do again?
Yes. First of all, the writing I absolutely enjoyed. I enjoyed the writing. It was easy for me to write a book. What I didn't like and still don't like is, to do the editing and correcting and the layout and finding the cover. That's what I don't like. That's why I still didn't publish it. Writing was really easy. I just loved the process. Absolutely. I learned a lot about myself. I loved the research for the book. So it's a business book. But I found out it takes actually Red said it to me in the beginning. It said, after when you finish the book, it's much more work to find the right cover and all the stuff like that. And I thought, I thought the writing is the most difficult part. No, it's not. It's all everything around it. So, and I want to be well prepared for my first book. But answer your question, yes, it was quite a long journey, an interesting journey. I loved it. I still love it, and I will bring out more books. Absolutely, it's not the last one.
Well, we're glad to hear that. And it's been another fabulous show. Thank you so much, Roland. Roland and I will be back next week at the time slot right before this one, which will be It's Your Healthy Lifestyle, followed by the Mallorca Connection. In the interim, Roland, what's the best way for people to get in touch with you? And who would you like to reach out about doing collaborations?
Well, the best way is send me an email, and then we find a way to how we can gonna communicate with this convenient for both sides. It's my email address is office@rolandfriedl.com. It's my name, ROLANDFRIEDL, rolandfriedl.com. Also office@rolandfriedl.com. Send me an email. And who wants to connect? Yeah, I always love to connect and with other people. It's all about sharing and caring and becoming a better version. And I love to hear from you. What triggers you, or what do you love, or where you are heading to? Yeah, let's connect and find a way how we can stay in touch or maybe collaborate. I'm just open for everything. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. All right, Roland, we'll see you next week. And thank you to everybody out there who's watching or listening. We really do appreciate you. If you would like to be part of our family, and we are growing all the time, and we truly are a family here, we'd love to have you as part of our team. So you can go over to Dr. JACALYN at usaglobaltv.com or to our website, usaglobaltv.com. You can go to book your session to be on one of our shows, as well as you can contact us if you're interested in joining our team. Thank you so much. We're signing off for now, and we'll be back with our next show, Sales Leader Roundtable, right after this. Thank you. Bye for now.